And all of a sudden it all happened together, and I opened the cupboard door and the Pope was there, which was nice.
No.
And he said, how much? So I got my odour eaters from another place now.
Well, you've got two.
You get them all kinds of flavours as well. Spicy tandoori and cheese and onion. 2 minutes on a low grill, and are we there?
Yeah, officially, yeah, we're here now.
Is this running now? Right.
Good. Yeah, it looks like everything's batteries are in. We're off and running.
Good, right.
Here
we go.
Well, yes, I hope so. So all our Odrisa talk has made me right hungry. So let's cast away, folks. Next stop, Beatleplaces Podcast. Woohoo!
Arr. Well, hi, hello and all that jazz. It's Mark and Col with another episode of What the Doctor Ordered. It's the Beatleplaces Podcast, available in tablet or capsule form.
Oh, yes.
No liquid, no?
Not yet.
We're here to brighten your day or lighten your night or sort of shades of evening with a good old podcast like they used to do in 2018. Talk about the Beatles and their formative years here in Liverpool.
Hey!
It's also a bit of fun and hopefully a nice diversion from other things like all the cold weather and the wet weather and the sun and everything else, including bricks and rotten eggs and all this and the other. But enough about lovable, handsome me. Who wrote this?
I did.
Good. And by the way of a contrast, over there is the co-host of the show and author of the book that has started it all off is the man who vehemently argues that everybody was not kung fu fighting.
It's true.
It isn't. I hate that record. It's Colin.
Hello.
Or Col.
Hello. Yes, either, either or either. That'll do me. Good evening, everyone. Hello there. Good morning. Guten Tag. Couldn't it be lovely? I can't think. Anyway, seems to be going well so far, Mark. What do you think?
It's all right, yeah.
Well, hello, everybody out there in podcast listening land. It's Col here with his good old chum, Mark, and I'm more than happy, it says on my smartwatch app, to be here presenting another happy-go-lucky, devil-may-care, keep off the grass, mind your head, Mrs. Show called...
What?
I always lose my thread at this point in time. Maybe I'm just happy.
Cut to the end.
It's called Beatleplaces Podcast. That's basically it. It's the usual merry old mix of Beatles fun, facts and laughs. And this podcast is basically just our excuse to talk incessantly about the Beatles, the best band in the world, and all about their formative years here in good old Liverpool. So if you've had trouble sleeping, here's the cure: the Beatleplaces Podcast.
Aye, well.
Did I shout too much there? I'm sorry for
just a little. Yeah, we'll have to work on that slogan, Col.
Yes.
I think. You got 90% of what he said is right, so 1% is maybe closer. We're here to entertain you today with a good old-fashioned show. Yes, unless something better comes along.
I hope not.
So set your Microsoft team on Do Not Disturb. Put your out-of-office assistant on Outlook. Put the milk bottle out for the milkman. Board up your windows and enjoy the Beatleplaces Podcast with the thing and what's the name and
you and him.
Doodah.
Itsy and Bitsy.
Right.
Is that the time? You know, the older I get, the earlier it seems it gets later. So we better get cracking on. Live from my parlour on a horrible March night. Once again, it's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. And we have more than your fair share of Beatles stuff tonight. In no particular order of merit. Without question, we've got the terrifically good Beatles Trivia Quiz with Mark. More fiendish Fab Four questions to Google after the show.
Yeah.
We also have Mark presenting this month in Beatle history. And then it's me. It's me. Me or him or both. And we're going to do the Beatles book review. And then Col. Oh, that's me again. I should type myself more often.
Are you on something?
No, not yet. I'm on a chair. With the Beatles Album review, and it's an interesting feature tonight, all about Liverpool College of Art. And all the teachers that were in it when John Lennon and Cynthia Powell were there.
Well, there you go. Right, without freedom of speech, we'll never know who the idiots were. Tarkol. What more could you ask for free?
For free.
For free?
It's always for free.
It is.
And
Keeping
it
going,
shows.
yours truly and yours unfortunately, Mark and Col, in our own inimitable, irritable style, with daft jokes and rabbiting on for no apparent reason. This is the ideal podcast to while away a quiet evening. Potholing or grouting or...
Your neighbour's bathroom.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Do something like that.
So potholing in your neighbour's bathroom.
Anchors away, trousers
on.
Up, socks on, settle down, cup of tea, anchors away as we commence for another Beatleplaces podcast. And don't forget, a splendid time is guaranteed for all. You want the best. You expect the best. You deserve the best. So while you're waiting, here's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
Never a truer word. Welcome one and all to Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. And now here's Mark with the first feature. It has to be one, and that's the first one. The first one is the first one. And for all you ladies out there, the ex-hand glove model Sagittarius Mark, 6'2" with his stocking feet and 5'6" on stilts, is Mark. Friends with 25 letters of the alphabet, but he doesn't know why. First to go, that's a terrible joke, isn't it? But I loved it when I read it. First to go in today's Beatleplaces podcast is the terribly tricky trivia Beatles quiz. And here's Mark to do all the honours.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very, very kind. I'm Aquarius, actually, not Sagittarius.
Just a guess. Wild guess.
That's co-host Col, whose philosophy is don't give a... life is a game of chess.
Yes.
Nearly said something wrong then. And he can't play chess. So while Col is busy ringing his lawyers, let's have a brand new Beatleplaces trivia quiz. Are you ready? Another dastardly collection of questions that you just can't afford to not know. So here's question number one. There's three of them, so 1, 2 and 3 in that order.
Do you want to mention one extra item to that, Mark?
I will, halfway through.
Halfway through, in fact.
Right. Question number one. Who left the band to pursue an art career? All right. Who left the band to pursue an art career? So it's not one of the four main ones, is it? Because they were there at the end. So they didn't leave the band.
That I'm aware of, yeah.
Yes. Also... another one. Who left the band to begin national service? All right, that's a bit more obscure, that one. And before we go any further, these questions are coming from a wonderful book written by somebody called Colin Gardner.
Oh, I know that fella. Big, small guy wears thick socks.
Blonde bloke with black hair, that's him. And it's called the Brainbusters Beatle Quiz Book, and it's by that bloke sat opposite me, Colin Gardner. He wrote this book, and there's loads and loads of questions in it.
Over 1,000, mate.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, over 100 rounds.
Must have taken you an evening to do that lot.
Two evenings.
So, if you want to go on to the well-known purchasing website where you can buy things from, you'll find this book in there. It's called the Brainbuster Beatles Quiz Book, and while away an evening.
Thank you very much.
Driving yourself crackers. And finally, question number 3. Who was given a feature credit on a Beatles record? All right? Quite a famous bloke, still knocking about. So... who was it? So those questions, once again, answers coming later. Who left the band to pursue an art career? Who left the band to begin national service? And finally, at number 3, who was given a feature credit on a Beatles record? Okay?
Answers later.
And a little clue. He played at the Royal Albert Hall in the George concert.
Ah, yeah, he did.
He did.
Or should we say they did?
They did.
Because you never know, it could be a woman.
It could be 3 people. So that's those 3 questions. Answers coming a bit later on. Okay. Right then. Are you ready for next bit?
Aye.
Right.
So we done quiz,
Right.
and we're still listening to the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Now what?
Giving unemployed, good-looking, tall, handsome, well-groomed voiceover artists a bit of part-time work. It's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next.
And we're all done here. The Beatleplaces quiz returns for a reprise in a wee while and answers after another wee while.
Maybe after a week.
Excuse me, yes. This is the place for all things Beatles. If we're not talking about the Beatles, then we're talking about...
Why we're not?
Why we're not talking about the Beatles. That's confusing.
Yeah, well, it's bad English, but that's another story.
Aye. There are other pop star podcasts available, minus gluten-free, stuff like that. I even saw an Elton John one the other day.
Did you?
I did, yes. It reminds me, Col. I heard an Elton John joke yesterday. It's a little bit funny. I'll tell you about it later on in the podcast.
Yeah. Make it as late as possible.
Right, when we've finished. Now, let's join Col's regular feature.
Regular?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
How thick are your glasses?
Well, my dad's name was Reg, and it's R-E-G.
Oh, God bless him.
So
yes,
regular.
of course, yeah.
The Beatleplaces Album Guide to the Fab Four. This time, it's the last Beatles album, Let It Be.
Eater, Mark. Now, you mentioned jokes. Here's a joke for all you mind readers out there.
What's that? Yeah? No?
Don't you get it?
I don't get that,
Oh,
no.
okay. Okay, get what?
What's
Beatles album guide.
I remember now.
Subtlety, maybe not.
No.
So, the album that was meant the end, but didn't have the end in it. Yeah, it's time again for the Beatleplaces album guide to the Fab Four. This time it's the Beatles' last official album, Let It Be. Let It Be was released May 8th, 1970. Blimey. It was recorded between Jan 69 and April 70. And wasn't the Beatles' actual last album made. They released Abbey Road first, and along the way, many recordings even overlap. So the track listing, I'm probably going to ring a lot of bells here, but it began with side one, two of Us,
Aye.
Dig a Pony, Across the Universe, I Mean Mine, Dig It, Let It Be, Maggie May, Flip It Over, there's side two looking at you, I've Got a Feeling, A One After 909, The Long and Winding Road, For You Blue, and Get Back.
Yay!
Not bad as albums go, especially last albums. Some songs are very short and some had even little asides in it, if you listen to all little commentaries. It did sound like a lot of fun when it was being made. And Paul wrote, if you don't know, famously, he wrote Let It Be and The Long and Winding Road on the same day. Same day? I mean, I don't even wash the dishes on the same day.
Oh,
Memorably, I'm kidding. Memorably, they filmed a lot of the preparation for the album, which can be judged with hindsight now, because most of us have seen the Get Back movie. It's called officially that, isn't it? Get Back.
It is. Yes.
As imagined by and re-edited by Peter Lord. Is it Peter? Peter.
No.
Peter
Lord. No.
Something. The guy who did Peter Jackson.
That's him.
Yeah, Peter
Lord
Jackson.
of the Flies.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies Jackson. Yeah. I always felt it was a sad album because when I was a kid, it was probably one of the second or third albums I was buying. But all the band knew, for all the band knew, things were closing anyway, coming to a natural end as such. So it seems a happier album now. We look back at it. The one regret is that Phil Spector got involved, as far as I'm concerned, which gave rise to the naked version a few years later, which I bought as well, and I preferred. What did you think of it?
I thought it was excellent. Paul McCartney didn't like he was very upset with the production that Phil Spector did. He ruined it, really, and he said he'd never have girls singing on any Beatles record, didn't he?
Oh, well, the Yoko sang on the White Album.
Did she sing?
Kind of sang.
No.
Maybe she stood on a tack. I can't
It could
remember.
be right.
I can't remember. But anyway, God
Sometimes.
love her. It's the way she sings. That's all I'm saying. So Phil Spector's thing, we kind of took it for granted. Now we kind of expect it when we play it. But the Naked album is very worthwhile for comparison. On the plus side, though, the inclusion of Billy Preston improved things loads on that album. It just seemed to be a bit more uplifted with him on it. And I think the band appreciated him turning up because he kind of lightened the mood because it was getting very gloomy. Even if the Get Back movie says they were all right and they're having a laugh, there were times when they weren't happy to be in Twickenham studios filming so early in the morning. It wasn't Beatles stuff. It wasn't the way Beatles things were done.
And there was talk of him joining the band as well.
Was there?
In the Get Back movie, they do talk about him. So what if we make it a five Beatles? Would get Billy Preston to join.
I mean, the signs were there that other people were going to get more involved. Eric Clapton had a bit to do with them, and there were sort of more. I mean, the orchestra being used since about '65 was signs enough. Anyway, there are 2 old Quarrymen songs that get an airing on that album too. Which ones can you think of, Mark?
Ooh, I'd say the one after 909.
Yes, and an old Liverpool song, Liverpool folk song, Maggie May.
Yeah, it's
Maggie
called a traditional song, isn't it, Maggie May?
In the lyrics of the Maggie May song, she was meant to be a lady of ill repute, and she operated, let's say, her self-employment from Lime Street, which is a very famous street in Liverpool. And as a matter of trivial fact, Paul's relatives lived on Lime Street. They ran a little shop there. I can't remember her name, but it was way back when.
And before way back when, Lime Street was named after the lime pit that used to be there.
Oh, right.
Apparently.
Yeah, you're making sense because there was a lot of quarries in the area, weren't there? So,
yep.
Yeah. I always do the thing about the album covers. So the photos on the album cover were by a fella called Ethan Russell. I've never heard of him since.
Haven't you?
No.
Oh, famous bloke.
Famous.
Famous.
But I've never heard of him. I don't get how much you're glossing though.
We'll have to delve into his.
Well, anyone out there can Google him. You've got a phone, you've got a computer, have a go. So, Ethan Russell. But those pictures are iconic. You can picture all 4 of them, just as the way they are. And do you know why it was kind of bordered round in black? I think that was meant to be symbolic.
Was it?
Yeah, meant to be. Right. The suggestion was it was kind of sort of a last will and testament. And that's the way it was kind of wrapped up, like you'd see a eulogy or it's like a thing, a funeral, unfortunately.
A final sort of
very final,
thing.
yeah, sort of, the wrapping. Some newspapers actually said it was the last will and testament of the band, but now we can see it was all right. The Get Back movie is a happy movie, a good movie, and full of fun. And it really wasn't as bad as the original version was when that movie came out in 71.
All they did was pick on the bad bits, really, didn't they? Then the arguments and stuff like that falling out, and there was none of the laughter that they had you saw in the Get Back movie.
Yeah, I've got an old version of the Get Back movie. Let It Be, the album, and I've only watched it the once. It was a bit of a mizzo affair for me. Didn't tune into it, didn't enjoy it. I've enjoyed Get Back. Peter Jackson did all the right things, and it looks lovely. It looks, splendidly photographed and interesting. Even if it's just the band, tuning it up most of the time and smoking a hell of a lot.
Preparation on the roof as well before everything got started, and the police invading the place at the end with the complaints about the noise. I
think they were happy about that. I think that made a bit of a climax to the movie. But, all things considered, the Let It Be album was done and dusted, and so were the band. So that's it, my review of the Beatles album, Let It Be.
Play us backwards, and it still doesn't make any sense. Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col.
Well, according to this gas bill, this is Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. And now we definitely move on to another oldie and yet goldie. It's over to Mark and his teeth for this month in Beatle history with Mark, brackets, I can tap dance to Glenister.
That's me, yes.
There you go, lad. I'll talk about a build-up.
I've got all my teeth in today.
Oh, yeah, I can
polished them especially.
Yeah, I can see that. Lovely. That glue is. You'll have to recommend that glue when you got a chance.
It's called tooth glue. Don't know why, but why not? So this today, I'm
Right
doing
now.
right now
Ish.
immediately. I'm doing this month in Beatle history, and because it's March, I'm doing March. How about that?
It makes sense.
What a coincidence!
It makes sense.
So we go back to say the beginning of March, 1967, and they were doing Sgt. Pepper's, preparing for that, recording that, doing lots of takes. And on Wednesday, the 1st of March, 1967, 7 takes of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds were recorded in the 7 o'clock to 2:15 a.m. session. And then the 7th was reduced into take 8, so they bounced it down,
as you call
ready
it.
for overdubbing. The first task of this session, though, was to add a new piano track onto take 6 of Day in the Life. An odd move considering that the master mono and stereo mixes had already been made. So whatever the purpose, this additional overdub went unused, which I wonder what it would have sounded like.
Yeah.
Maybe they've it's around somewhere, it must be. So we'll dive on a little bit further.
Please.
So that was the 1st of March. We'll go to the Thursday, the 9th of March. So they're still at it, doing Sgt. Pepper's. And another 7 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. session.
Oh, blimey.
Because they always did things in the evening because they thought the voices were better after a day. Rather than when you get up first thing in the morning, your voice is hasn't been used properly.
Yeah, it's strained, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's,
By the end of the day, like mine is now, it feels a lot better.
well, yeah, you've spoken our home pipe
It's
there,
it's the old Holborn, old Holborn, whatever it is.
kicking in.
Yep. 7 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. session on the Thursday, the 9th of March, saw the start of Paul's Getting Better with 7 rhythm track takes recorded, and then 7 being reduced to 5. So they did a lot of bouncing down from one track to another, into takes 8 through to 12. So they really went mad on that one. And take 12 being marked the best, ready for overdubbing on the 10th, the 21st and the 23rd of March. So a bit of a busy day on Thursday, the 9th of March.
It was to do, I think, with how primitive the mixing desk was, as it was. They could have expanded it because even at that time in 1960-odd, it was a case of the Beach Boys had 32 tracks available to them, and yet EMI, not being skinflints, they only had 4.
Yep.
And so any tracks were made, they were so polished in terms of performing. I think they managed to knock off the vocal with maybe a bass, but bass and drum went down usually first.
Yeah.
And then the vocal was just a case of putting it on top of everything else. So
Bounced it down to...
it's all production, isn't it?
And now it's done in an instant.
On a phone.
On a phone. You don't even have to be together in the same room.
You don't even have to sing.
Which doesn't... you don't have to even be in a group.
Or in it.
Yeah. Alive even.
Or there.
Yeah. Shut up.
I am. I
Good.
have.
Right. Finally, we'll go to the 17th of March. Why not?
Yes.
Seemed a nice day.
Here's to the 17th of March.
Friday the 17th of March. Cheers.
Hey,
look at
17th
that.
of March. It's the 17th of March, everyone.
Right. It's a nice cup of coffee, though. 17th of March, Friday the 17th of March, 1967. Another 7 p.m. to 12:45 session, during which in 6 takes the orchestral score for another new McCartney song, She's Leaving Home, was recorded. Unusually, the score was not by George Martin, but by a different freelance producer and arranger, Mike Leander, who was paid £18 for all rights to his work. Just like that. He should have left it, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I'll take the royalty tar.
George had been busy with one of his several other artists, and Paul, reluctant to wait, had gone to Leander, a decision which stung George Martin a bit. He was a bit upset about that. Showing good grace nonetheless, George was prepared to conduct the musicians in the studio and admit that Leander's arrangement was effective. There were 10 players: Eric Grunberg, Derek Jacobs, Trevor Williams, Jose Luis Garcia, John Underwood and Stephen Shingles, Dennis Weigay and Alan Dalziel on cellos, Gordon Pierce and Sheila Bromberg on harp, the latter being the first woman especially recruited to play on a Beatles record. There you go. Remember that name, Sheila Bromberg.
Sheila Bromberg.
That's it. Write it down and never forget.
One B.
She was the first woman.
One B, another B, and a G. Okay.
Right, so that's it. My month in Beatle history. From
Splendid stuff.
1967.
And an interesting year you picked as well.
Match.
Yeah, interesting. The album was because it was the pinnacle of their performance. You picked exactly the right month, and exactly the right year. Well done.
Very interesting. I even interested myself.
On the way.
How about that? Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Bottoms up.
Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Serious radio broadcasting. They say the 3 hardest things to say in life are, I'm sorry, I need help, and Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. It is. Actually, it is hard to say. Worcestershire
sauce.
Worcestershire sauce, yeah. I've been using your tongue glue, whatever it's called, teeth glue. Well, maybe there's a fourth, and it's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Bloody mouthful as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Wish I'd called it Col's Show or something.
You haven't been
like that.
taking those things again.
Gobstoppers.
Yeah.
No. Well, hello everyone, and everyone out there and in here. And that's Mark and that's Col. So that was the marvellous Mark with his month in Beatle history. Good month he picked, and he'll be back next time, or next to no time, and maybe even sooner than that, and probably just next time. So what's next, I hear you ask? I'm glad you reminded me, folks, because it's another regular Beatleplaces feature. It's Beatles Book Review, and if we got a chance, we'll both have a go at this time round. Because when me and Mark or two people of general height and weight and pay packet review a book or two, it's this time it's Beatles Book Review. So let's get cracking.
Hey. That's Col talking there. It was a bit like my vacuum cleaner. A bit slow on the uptake and needs hair digging out every now and then. It's full of fluff. Nevertheless,
We got the Beatles Book Review because I think there's a little typo here. We're going to do a feature. We'll do that in a bit.
Aye.
So we'll do the book review. Have you got a book?
I have. It's this one.
Oh, it looks like it's square. It's got writing on it. That looks like a book.
It's got words in it.
And where's inside?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Let's have a look.
Right. There's the first page. Very red. Yeah. And it's called
Shiny.
A Hard Day's Write, written by Steve Turner, and it's the story behind every Beatles song. Every Beatles song, it says. And some nice photographs I've never seen before.
They are good.
Colour photographs.
Colour, yeah.
And quite a decent write-up on every Beatles song you could possibly think of. So how about picking a song? And I'll
will.
see if I can find it in
I
here.
will.
And I'll tell you a bit about it
I will.
while you're there.
I will. 1968-ish. White Album.
I will.
So
Right.
let's find what was the story behind I Will, Mark?
I will.
Oh,
I've got to
Mark
find
will.
it first. You know, that's the thing. It's very very near here.
It's a heavy book, I can tell you that from here.
It is, yeah. It's got quite a few pages in it.
There's plenty to read. I like a good book when there's plenty in it.
Yeah. It's I don't know how long ago I got this actually.
Well, we can enjoy it in a minute.
We can. You said I will.
I will.
Why can't I find it in here?
You said every book.
Every
song. Yeah.
But it doesn't give me the page.
Oh, aren't we?
So while you're chatting away, I'll see if I can find the thing.
Okay.
Come on then. Say something.
I can tell you about the book I'm going to review, which is called The Beatles Are Coming, The Birth of Beatlemania in America. And we'll talk about that straight after we've heard from Mark with A Hard Day's Write.
Right.
And Mark's found the song that I was after.
Yeah, it's called
Will.
I Will. A nice picture of Donovan on the page there as well. I think it is.
Yes, that looks like it, with hair.
And it says, I will. Paul spent 67 takes. 67 takes.
That's a lot. I mean,
getting I Will right on September the 16th, 1968, with Ringo playing on cymbal and maracas and John tapping the rhythm with a piece of wood. It was the first of Paul's songs to be written about Linda, and he was still adding and changing lines as it was being recorded. He started the song in India, but being unhappy with the original lyric, he stripped it off and started again. So that's one little bit from this book.
I didn't know any of that.
No, I didn't.
And I thought I knew a little bit about the Beatles.
I can recommend this book. It's published by Carlton, written by Steve Turner. It cost, when it was published, £20. Whether it's still available, I do not know.
You could reckon.
I don't know, but I can recommend it.
Quality, that's great.
Some nice pictures of the cavern in there, and contents, every song in there. Some nice pictures of the houses, early pictures, and I go for it if I were you. Every song
It's
that
kind
they've ever written.
It's kind of wraps up the story, doesn't it? Because the back history is one thing, their canon of work, their music is another.
And even some of the sort of bootleg stuff that it's hard to get hold of.
Oh yeah, tell us about
stuff like What's the New Mary Jane and stuff like that.
Yeah,
is in it as well.
What do we know about that?
John wrote What's the New Mary Jane with Alex, who's Alex Mardas, the Greek-born John Alexis Mardas, who was the fantastic electronic engineer who was supposed to build them a huge and glorified mixing desk, but nothing came of it at all. It didn't work, so they got rid of him. So John wrote What's the New Mary Jane with John Alexis Mardas, in 1968, demoed in May that year, and it's a bit unorthodox.
I've heard it,
is,
and I kind of don't go with it really.
Yeah, it goes on a little bit really.
It reminds me of My Name, the B-side on the last single.
Yeah,
seemed like a bit of a laugh, but not a serious song to speak of.
It's sort of. It's a put down of maybe somebody in the Maharishi's circle, it says.
Yeah.
And significantly, John had been recording Sexy Sadie the day before. So at the end of the recording, John can be heard saying, "Let's hear it before we get taken away." A year later, he planned to have it released as a B-side with a Plastic Ono Band single, but it was pulled at the last minute. "It was real madness," said John, describing the track in 1969. "I'd like to do it again."
Yeah, well, he did. I mean, the point was he experimented non-stop. The thing was, it was a little non-Beatle-y. And, I'll give him some credit, though. He did try experimenting more than some.
Yeah, so I recommend that book, A Hard Day's Right by Steve Turner. Go out and buy it if you can find it anywhere. Yeah. Invaluable, says Paul Denoyer from Mojo magazine.
And so do you two.
I do, yes, it is.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll read that in bed tonight, I think.
The other one you can't read, because I'm reading it at the moment, and I haven't finished it yet, is a book called The Beatles Are Coming, The Birth of the Beatlemania in America.
So it is.
Written by a chappie called Bruce Spicer.
Know him?
You know him. I do. And it's mostly, the thing is, it's a bit of a niche book. It's about a phase in the Beatles' history from February of '63 to February 64. Kind of just, less than a year really to speak of, but it's all to do with when the Beatles arrived in America, literally, and how that was negotiated, how that was dealt with, how that was promoted. From a standing start, nobody knew them. And then one or two people picked up on it. And it was just by a lot of happy circumstances, coincidences, that the Beatles even got on American radio. And from there, a little bit of interest. And from there, a little bit of success and a little bit of attention. And from there on in, with the release of I Wanna Hold Your Hand, and down to one or two people, I was going to do something along the exact same lines, which is construct like a book on the basis of what happened in Paris when the Beatles were waiting to hear about America, and when they got to America on the release of I Wanna Hold Your Hand. But this book has just overtook me, and it's far better than anything I could put together, with much more detail than I could get hold of, and fantastically done. This Bruce Spicer fella, he knows his limitations here, but he's gone and got everything to do with that phase in time. He understands the recording companies' politics and why the Beatles were not promoted straight away, and why they were put on very low-level subsidiary album covers and albums like Swan, and album companies like that, LP record companies like that. And eventually it was down to one or two people who were fans who, just by the grace of God, got hold of the record by friends. Even an airline stewardess handed the Beatles records to a boyfriend of hers in America. And that's one way the Beatles took off. The other way was just by chance. It mentions how Ed Sullivan was passing through England when he'd been to Sweden, and he was waiting for his flight home. And on the same day, the Beatles were on their way out on a European tour. I think they were going to Sweden. And Ed Sullivan noticed this mania in the airport, and he said, "What's this about?" And when he found out it was about just a musical band, he knew no more about it than that. And that's when he first noticed the Beatles. He physically noticed them the first time. It just went on, but it's so many situations that could have gone in a different direction and let the Beatles come and go, really. They could have just been around for a week and a half and then gone. And but for the promotion of the record in the right way, but for the fact that Capitol Records finally conceded to promote the stuff, and just for the happy coincidence that they became number one just as they were coming to America. So many lovely things happen in the right order. Let's not forget that we were talking about a few months after President Kennedy had been shot, and we're talking about the need for some kind of lift in America, some kind of good news. And it's always been said that when the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, the millions and millions of people, 70 million who watched, they tuned in because it was the nicest news they'd heard all the time for months. So it was just a way of getting around uplifting the mood of America. And haircuts and the way they talked and the way they acted in press interviews, it just enticed them.
Irreverent, weren't they?
They were irreverent and lovely with it.
I
And
think
the music helped as well.
Yeah. A lot of the success they had at appearing on the Ed Sullivan Show on February the 9th was because it was my birthday, and I think that helped them along as well.
I think, yeah.
With my birthday.
Yeah, as a percentage.
Yeah.
It was about 98%.
50, at least 50.
Did they ring you up just before they went on?
They did,
they checked, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just come in from school.
I think this Bruce Spicer puts a little comment in the back saying, I think it was he says, actually, what I've just written has not considered the fact that Mark was born on the same day the Beatles performed on the Ed Sullivan Show.
No, I wasn't born on that
I wish
day.
to
It was my
apologise for this.
birthday.
I wish to apologise for this error.
I was 10.
And that the fact he was celebrating his 10th birthday, it says here in brackets again. And I wish to apologise for this erratum.
I'm still waiting for money to come from that.
Well, Bruce is aware. Let's just say. So that's the book. That's the book.
What a load of rubbish
the
that was.
The book I got is from Bruce Spicer. It's American import. I got it through a well-known website, and it's on 498 Publications. Who are they? No idea.
That's another one to look for.
A great book because it's if you're talking about focusing on one topic, this is a great Beatles topic. I don't know why the guy isn't more famous, but I'm sure Mark Lewison will give this guy a lot of credit when he chronicles that phase in time when the Beatles had their history in America.
When was the book published? Is it a new book?
I think it's a wee bit old. It's even got a foreword by, God bless him, Walter Cronkite.
He's gone.
What a the most trusted man in America, I was told. 2003, this book came out on 498 Productions.
20 years old.
Great big book, full of pictures, full of comments, rare stuff. And yet the guy really knows his onions on this one. He's got the detail to a nano level.
So if you can get hold of it, go for it.
Yep. There you go. The Beatles Are Coming.
Worth a read.
Beatlemania in America. Bruce Spicer.
That's
buy it
the
when
man.
you can. If you can, you can buy it off me, but I'm going to put the price up.
Okay. Oh, well, I might not then.
Thanks, folks.
Super.
Now then, it's the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col, so pay attention! There might be a written test later.
What happens now then?
I coughed.
Ah, right.
So, yeah.
Where are we up to? Page 42.
42, chapter 9, line 6.
Right.
And it gives me a chance to talk about the Liverpool College of Art.
Right.
So let me get my book.
Right. Which book is this you're getting?
It's my own.
It's Colin's own book, and it's called Beatleplaces. That's what it says on the front and on the side of it as well.
And on the back.
And it's got his name on it as well.
And on the underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, it's Beatleplaces feature time, folks. Quickly going over some things. Me and Mark can talk about what's next. And I just thought, let's go into the book because I love getting detail from this one because being local, you can get this kind of thing handy. And with the assistance of the good old Liverpool Museum and the Liverpool College of Art archives, I got this. So we're talking about the time when John Lennon went to college and he went to become an art student. Don't know if he intended to be an art teacher, but Liverpool College of Art, actually called the Regional College of Art, was set up to promote art school teachers and create them as well, doing what they call an ADT, an art diploma a diploma in teaching.
That's it.
And
Get there eventually.
ADT. Now, Stu Sutcliffe went to the College of Art. Bill Harry went to the College of Art, and a few old mates from his previous school at Quarry Bank went to the College of Art. That's just a fact of it. But John Lennon went there, and in his time, he was famously seen and noticed as a maverick. He didn't do a lot of work, but he was famously there. Because it was boiled down to the fact that his old headmaster at his old school helped him get there. He didn't have the qualifications as such to get in, but on recommendation and upon a little bit of portfolio of work and his Aunt Mimi's insistence that she would pay the first year of his educational grant for the year, he went in and he did all right. But the thing is, he made those connections when he was there. He met Paul, he met George because they were in the school next door. He met Stu Sutcliffe, who was a big influence on him. As well as that, let's not neglect those people who taught him, because there were a few. And I'll name a few, and we'll see what goes on.
Funny how everything sort of slotted together just at the right time.
Just so many things, you've just got to go, oh, that happened, and this happened on the back of it. So it's all about that, really, with Beatles stuff. So
lots of it's luck, isn't it?
Entirely. And if we were luckier, we'd know more. So the art tutors were there. Let's name a few. There was a fellow called Alfred Whiffin. He lived in Hoylake on the Wirral, and he wasn't that far away from where Cynthia Powell lives, Cynthia Lennon to later be known as. And Hoylake has had quite a few artistics in there, including a few other people I'll mention in a sec. Alfred, he taught life drawing, and he lived close to Cynthia, like I mentioned. There was a fella who was called Philip Hartas, and he famously had a quote about John Lennon, and he was an art teacher who taught sculpture. He was a student at a very famous college in London called the Slade School, and Henry Moore was his teacher himself. So there was some kind of talent there. But he wasn't much older than John, to be fair, and yet he couldn't stand him. And he called him a fellow born without brakes. As well as there was the more famous guy the guy who basically allowed John or got John to stay on an extra year, even though when his scores and his intermediate exam results weren't showing him in a great light. This fella helped him stay on this extra year, and that was a fella called Arthur Ballard. He was born in Liverpool, Anfield, in 1915. It sounds like a long time ago, doesn't it? Yeah.
1915?
1915, yeah. He was unconventional, which is probably why there was a bit of appeal for John Lennon. He was an ex-boxer, and he gravitated to the world of art quite late in life, and he taught compositional intermediate art. So he's exactly where John was being taught. He often held his classes quite informally. That included the pub round the corner, Ye Crack. And we've been in Ye Crack.
We have.
Yeah, and enjoyed their porter, which is lovely. It's bitter ale, but it's very strong bitter ale, isn't it?
A bit like Guinness, in a way.
Arthur taught in the pub, and he taught to Stu Sutcliffe in his Percy Street flat. Gave him private lessons on his talent, so that was quite true. Let's see, what else was there? A fellow called George Jardine. Now, George Jardine was another art teacher at the Liverpool College of Art, and he lived, like a lot of the art teachers, in sort of attic areas in a place called School Lane, which is not far away from the art college. It's near a place called Blue Coat Chambers.
Bless
which
you.
Is a thank you. A Blue Coat Chambers, an art gallery nearby.
Used to be a school.
Aye, entirely. And nowadays, and since then, it's been an art gallery sort of place. Yoko Ono even did a bit of display in there, and I mean art. More famously, and I'll finish on this, is the lady who posed nude. So let's call her a life model.
Oh, aye.
She was a friend of John Lennon's, more of a friend of Stu Sutcliffe's actually, and her name was June Fairlong. And she lived in the same road that Brian Epstein had his flat in Faulkner Street. And she lived a few doors up, and she was a famous local lady. But she was a life model, very pretty lady in her time. Gone now, she died just a few years ago. But she was a life model there, and she only retired in her 70s, I think. So, 68 she retired from taking her kit off. So I'm still doing it, as you know.
Yeah.
So
as we speak,
she started when she was 17, and you know what I mean. So she managed to come from she did that sort of work in London, and then she gravitated back to Liverpool where she came from, and she worked for the College of Art there. And John Lennon was forever making silly jokes at her expense. But he was a friend of hers, and he often went round to where she lived in Faulkner Street. And at one time, when the college was doing a pantomime, Stu Sutcliffe and him went round and they borrowed some clothes off her just to wear, just to be ridiculous.
Just to dress up a bit.
A corset and things like
Aye.
that. So, as it goes, the teachers were just the usual woolly bunch of people who go, him, her. But nevertheless, they all made a big difference to what John Lennon was. And on another occasion, I'll cover those people who were his art student friends, people like Phyllis Mackenzie, Anne Mason, Helen Anderson, people like that. And we'll talk about that another time. So there you go, little feature, little mention about the College of Art in Liverpool.
Super duper. Right, just going to run through the old Beatles trivia quiz questions once more.
Righto.
Are we ready? So I did ask 3 questions, and I wanted to know who left the band to pursue an art career. Okay. Number 2 was who left the band to begin national service. And finally, who was given a feature credit on a Beatles record? So from very early to very late in the Beatles' career. Those 3 questions: who left the band to pursue an art career, who left the band to begin national service, and who was given a feature credit on a Beatles record? Answers coming up very, very soon.
Once you've gargled.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think I'll have a chocolate.
Oh, you're welcome if you can find one.
There's good news I've got there.
Good news.
There's some good news chocolates. Just looking through the George Harrison book called I, Me, Mine, and there's lots of nice photographs in it, and a picture of good news chocolates made by Macintoshes.
Yeah. Should we explain what we mean and why it's in there?
Because from the album, the White Album, or The Beatles, there's a song called Savoy Truffle, and George Harrison borrowed or pinched a box of chocolates from his friend. Do you know who the friend was? Can you remember?
Eric Clapton.
It was. And he went through the names of the chocolates in the box of good news,
Right.
and picked quite a few things. So there's ginger sling, there's Savoy truffle, cream tangerine, coffee dessert, Montélimar.
Oh, right.
So-
Any more that aren't in the song there?
Pineapple treat. It is a pineapple heart, he
Could
says.
have rhymed that, couldn't he?
And coconut and caramel. Bit hard to rhyme, that one.
Caramel.
Almond sundae. That's not in it. And toffee cream Brazil.
Oh, definitely not a rhyming one. No.
Nougatine cup. No. Oh, well, there we go. I'm hungry now. What happens now?
Well, I thought I'd grab a little moment. In fact, now you talk a little bit of George trivia. Give me a bit of Paul trivia. He can work it out. Did you know? I mean, you do know, and no doubt who's listening knows.
And this person here next to me.
And
as
the
well.
guy here, and the guy who's knocking on the door outside.
Aye.
Paul did a lot of work on a lot of songs in the Beatles catalogue without the aid of other people. He played drums, of course. He played a lot of instruments himself, and sometimes he did the whole thing. So here's a little mention as to what he was on and what he did. If you listen to the song Taxman, it's a proper stinger of the song, I mean, admittedly, but he repeated 13 seconds of squawking lead, which is the guitar bit, as you know, very sharp staccato guitar work, that fiercely underlines George's dismay at having to hand over most of his earnings to pay for hospitals and schools and so on. Sure. Taxman. So Paul played Taxman. He was the guy who played Taxman. I had the feeling for a long time it was George. Completely thought that. In fact, Paul features again on the lead guitar on the first vocal line for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band as the song. And the reprise of the song, George took over and did the bits and pieces. That, to me, sounds a bit more rocky. And on Good Morning, same album, Paul did the brilliant lead guitar that peaks at about 146. Now you're in gear, as John says. He was there doing that. Nobody else. When I thought George was in charge. Paul played the drums on this song, Dear Prudence. Did you know?
I didn't.
No, because I know Ringo was absent for a few songs back in the USSR. Paul played on that. Paul played the recorder, the old-fashioned recorder, on Fool in the Hill. And he performed it again on Glass Onion. So he's all over the place, this fella. I mean, he's a one-man band.
He is.
So there's a few facts about Paul being a multi-instrumentalist.
Excellent. Jolly good then. So that's that little bit. We've done a bit of George, we've done a bit of Paul.
Aye.
So what's next on the agenda, Captain?
Well, if it's all right with you,
Aye.
I'm going to do a thing called Take a Trip Around Beatleplaces.
Right.
I'm going to mention a few places that me and you know really well. And just to give a hint that if anyone ever comes to Liverpool, you can do it lots of little ways. But in the book I've put together called Beatleplaces, sometimes you don't have that much time. You're a tourist, you're not from round here, and you're going to stay either an hour or two because your bus is late, or you're going to be here on a cruise liner, or you're going to be here because you want to come to Liverpool and see the place. And very shortly, in Liverpool, there's going to be the Eurovision Song Contest, and that's going to take place in May. And the trouble is, there's going to be zillions of people in Liverpool at that time of the year. It'll be very popular, but without a doubt, people will be looking at the Beatle history when they come and visit. No two ways about it. They're going to have a good old look. And if they do, and if ever you do, you can take advantage of what I'm about to tell you. So, like I say, you can visit Liverpool and its environs, and you can spend half a day longer. But let's just take in what you can do. All I'd recommend, I think the main thing I'd say to anyone who visits Liverpool to see Beatle things is they're in a small space. Liverpool's kind of like compressed compared to a city, other cities I could mention. London, for example. And all you need is a decent pair of training shoes and you're laughing because you can go top to tail in Liverpool and see all the Beatles sites that you've ever heard of in half a day. If you want to see a lot more stuff and get really involved, it might take you a day. And if you plan to stay for a week or two, yeah, easily, no problem. You could do that in about 3 or 4 days and you could see most of the things I'm talking about. For instance, if you're here half a day, you could go to the Oxford Street Maternity Hospital where John was born. And not far from there is the Mount Pleasant Registry Office. We know where that is. Mount Pleasant, of course. The Liverpool College of Art.
Aye.
That's not far away from there either.
Within walking distance.
Entirely.
Yeah.
So you forget your pogo stick, leave that at home.
Yeah.
Come out in your trainers and you can now see these things. What about Vaughan's Fish and Chip Shop, Mark? You know what that is?
No.
It's round the corner from the Philharmonic Hall.
Is it?
Philharmonic Hall.
On the main road?
On the main drag, yeah, from Hope Street.
Ah.
So the fish and chip shop, or a chippy as we'd call it, that's where Paul went during school lunch times. That's where John went as a college student, and he got his chips and stuff from there as
I
well.
suppose it's gone now.
No, it's still there. It's a fancy posh cafe.
Ah.
And it's cobble street outside. It looks very filmic. But there's Vaughan's Chippy, and lo and behold, it's still there, kind of.
I might go there tomorrow.
The Pilgrim, that's a pub. That's where the Art College crowd went, if they weren't going into the other pub called The Crack.
Aye.
The Crack. There's the Jacaranda pub, which is now kind of a proper pub, and it's a club, and you can go there every night and have a good old time.
Walked past there the other day.
The Merseybeat office, however, is now flats.
Ah.
I did take some photos of it just before it was redone and done up, and it doesn't look better for it. I preferred it the way it was. What about Blackley's store, where George was as a worker, and he was a shop dresser and an electrician in his time there. It's a big old department store. Now it's a bunch of little stores.
And it's a pub as well.
It's a bit of a pub. So you can say you've been to Blackley's if you come at all. There's also the Cavern. Why not? But the thing is about where the Cavern is in a place called Matthew Street. And Matthew Street comprised, in its time, when the Beatles were there, of the Cavern and the Grapes. And that's it. That's all there was there. Nowadays, you go there, there's a Beatles shop at the corner that sells souvenirs. Then there's a Beatles themed pub. Then there's the Cavern that was rebuilt. Then there's another place that's called Rubber Soul, I think, Revolver Pub.
Something like that.
There's the Beatles actual shop, which is one of the best shops going, the souvenir shop, the proper tourist shop. And a bunch of eateries and drinkeries
And the Cavern isn't where it was, where it is now, isn't where it originally was either.
Yeah, I think in another episode we'll talk about, me and Mark talk about our 6 degrees of separation and who we know and what we know about people who really were in the Cavern and people who really were famous, and knowing Mike McCartney and all the people who are connected with the Beatles. So we'll talk about that another time.
Quite right. 2.
Yeah, so if anything, then you come to Liverpool, you will see more than your share of Beatles stuff because you'll be tripping over it. It's everywhere, and luckily for everyone concerned, it's close to everything else. So it's all in the Beatleplaces book, and it's called Take a Trip, Go Out and About, Spend a Day in Liverpool. There you go.
Super. Very good.
You're welcome.
A nice walk around.
Yeah, and you know,
Not too far to walk either,
no,
really.
no, yeah, on a corn plaster level, it's about a 1.
Yeah. Let me write that down.
It's a 1.
Right. Should we do the quiz answers now, do you think?
It's time. It looks like it's time. Crack on.
Right. Are we ready? These are the answers to the Beatleplaces trivia quiz. Here we go. The first question was, who left the band to pursue an art career? Any idea? Do you know?
I do know.
Go on then.
And that would be Stu Sutcliffe.
It was indeed. Yeah. Stu Sutcliffe left the band to pursue an art career. He was the bassist.
He was.
But not a very good one, because he sort of...
He was average.
Played around a little bit and didn't do the proper notes. So in the end... Paul took over,
yeah,
reluctantly
took over as well, can you imagine?
And the second question was, who left the band to begin national service? And that was a bloke called Norman Chapman.
That's right.
Who was the drummer.
He was,
Can you tell me a bit about Norman Chapman?
Of course I can.
Very, very early in the Beatles' career.
Yeah, nice fellow, I believe.
Right.
He had a girlfriend called Anastasia Pello.
Wow, what a name.
How I know that, I don't know. I looked it up, or figured it out, or rang him up. He worked in the upstairs part of, on top of an art shop, across the road from the Jacaranda club. cafe, whatever it was.
Aye.
And the Beatles heard him one day just practicing one lazy afternoon. And they go, that's a drummer over there. So they made inquiries, and this guy worked for a cash register company. But he brought his drum kit to the place because he could play there, because drums are noisy.
Aye.
So he managed to get the chance to play in his spare time, and they noticed him. So they signed him up, in a manner of speaking, and he helped them out with quite a few gigs, and substantially made a difference to the band because they needed a drummer. He didn't go to Hamburg because he was called up for his army subscription. He was meant to be conscripted.
His national service.
His national service, as we call it in the UK. So the poor fella didn't miss his chance. I think he naturally wanted to go, but that was Norman Chapman.
Aye. What a man. Not many people know about him, actually.
No.
And finally, question number 3 was, who was given a feature credit on a Beatles record? And of course, it was Billy Preston, who played the keyboards.
Mentioned him already tonight.
He was an excellent pianist. Very, he sort of put a bit of soul into their music, and lots of fiddly bits.
Gifted.
Gifted, yeah.
Gifted.
He could play anything, really. Just play this, they'd say to him, and blah, 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 off he'd go.
How'd he go?
And, blah, blah, blah. And he also played on the Concert for George at the Albert Hall. The year after George died.
He had a hell of an afro. I remember that.
He did, yeah.
Great big thing.
And he was he's a nice man by the look of it, and he's featured in the film, the Let It Be film.
Yeah,
Get Back.
Nice to see more of him, really.
And they were thinking, as I said before, thinking of maybe him joining the group as well.
You could see that being a good fit because they didn't have an organist pianist full on. And it would have added a bit of a context to later tunes. But as it was, he had his time. It was good. He was good.
Super. So that is that for this time of the Beatleplaces Trivia Quiz answers. If you got all 3 right, there's 50 quid in the post on its way to you as I speak. Okay?
Thanks, Marky Boos.
Uh-huh.
Well, they close this place soon and they let the dogs loose, so we better wrap this episode up, I think, Matey-kins.
Yeah, the licensees open the doors now and the windows, so all the cold's coming in. So go on, lads, out you go.
Hey, lads and lasses, grab your glasses.
Cheers.
Yeah, put the wood in the hole. Yeah, so that's all off for, I think.
That's a big 10-4, big buddy. Yep. We shall return, folks. Ha-ha.
Oh, yes, I hope so.
With a needle, another Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. But I think a joke to end with.
Oh, as long as it's not an Elton John one, is it?
Is that one of your own, is it? That one? Okay, then.
Okay, go on. What is it?
What did the drummer name his twin daughters?
Dunno.
Anna 1, Anna 2.
That's a cracker.
Anna 3, 4. Hey, it is. That's a cracker. A Christmas cracker, actually.
Oh, well, it makes sense.
Pull the other one. Well, they say time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana, and my flies are undone. Our time is up for tonight. It's time to get the coat on. Get the cocoa out. And,
we should be sponsored by a cough mixture firm. We're having a bit of a rough one tonight.
Yeah, but
certainement, Monsieur G.
That's French, is it?
So that's our Beatleplaces podcast done.
Thank you for listening.
For another night. So we're due to do another quiz next time, and we'll put one together for you, especially just for you over there, him over there, her over there. So we'll put that together ASAP.
Super. So while you're away... Well, pardon me. While we're sort of attempting to combine ourselves together to make another Beatleplaces podcast,
yes, to listeners.
There's Col's books to buy as well.
Oh, aye.
So there's Beatleplaces.
Hello.
A big thick book. Cost you 50 quid delivery.
Yeah, you pay by the kilo.
He's also done a book called Beatles Family Trees.
Yeah, actually, I just remember somebody in France bought it this week.
Did they?
Yeah. You know, well, quel dommage.
Why not? Petit pois.
They might be ordering that too.
Mange two. And the new one, which is the Brain Buster Beatles Quiz Book. Here you go.
As used by astronauts.
Available at all reputable people called Amazon. Yeah. Who's that? Mr. Amazon.
Yes, him. Yeah.
Mr. Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's very kind of you. Thanks, Mark. Checking the post. I should have written more about myself, to be frank.
Well, Frank?
No, well, Frank as well.
Is he here as well?
No, he'll be here soon, yeah.
Well,
we'll have to wrap up and finish off, so we're done.
Yeah, because I've got work tomorrow.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Well, I haven't really, but...
There's stuff to do.
There's stuff to do.
You got those oat Reese's to order as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which flavour was it?
Tandoori.
Tandoori.
And cheese and onion.
Woo!
One of each.
Ooh, you were lucky.
Anyway, turn the red light off.
Time to go.
Aye.
Yeah. Cheery bye, everyone.
Ah, that's it. Get
Cheery
it done
bye.
then.
Yeah.
Aye. Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. We hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to visit the gift shop on the way out where you can buy all sorts of stuff.